you probably often hear these terms being thrown around, composable or headless. We call it modern e-commerce. But what is this and how does it relate to my BigCommerce platform? Can I just click a button and it becomes modern? What are the steps that is involved to getting there? Or also, what kind of benefits should I expect to get out of this modern thing that we're going to be talking about here today? I'm Joseph, president here at SwiftOtter, and making content like this is my passion. I hope you find this helpful today, so let's jump in. The first question we're going to look at is, what is modern e-commerce? So we're going to talk about it from a perspective of you already being on BigCommerce. This video is about BigCommerce and modern e-commerce. So the thing to understand is the platform, the admin experience is not going to change when moving to a modern system. We're going to talk about this architecture, what it looks like from the differences and perspectives, but suffice it to say for right now, modern e-commerce is kind of a cross between a new theme and a new website, except you get to keep the background admin as your own. New theme, new website, kind of a hybrid in there. Now, what would be some of the benefits that we should experience through this process of utilizing modern e-commerce? Well, a couple of these are really powerful. Number one is a reduced bounce rate. Now, how does this work? I mean, number two here, better core web vitals, that makes sense, but the bounce rate might not make as much sense. And here's the reason. When somebody comes to your website and they like the experience, they find the information that they need, the website loads up super fast, they're able to click into other pages quickly, that bounce rate is going to drop. Now, a critical metric for Google to know your interest as far as how relevant this search phrase is and the results that Google showed against that search phrase in your website is how long they stay on your website. If it's a 2-second thing out and back, well, Google knows that's not very relevant. And, the longer you stay, your customers stay on your website, the better. And so by providing them a finely tuned, a beautiful, a functional experience, well, guess what? That's going to reduce the bounce rate, and that's going to tell Google that you are a good match for these results, which means you will start climbing in the search rankings right there, which means you will have happier customers, and your user interface actually can become more integrated. One of the problems with call it the old way of doing things is it's kind of disjointed. Everything comes from the server, and yet we want to pull in these other informational pieces into the mixture. And it's hard to do that with the old way of doing it. Well, modern e-commerce just can bundle it up into this beautiful package to be served on a platter to your customers. Now, that's not all. Better core web vitals, what we're seeing when modern e-commerce is done right, and that is a huge caveat. You have to work with an agency that knows what they're doing. Like us here at SwiftOtter, we have hired the best of the best. We know what we are doing, because otherwise you can get a website, a modern e-commerce website that doesn't have these benefits, and that would suck. That would really be bad. Why invest the money or go through this process if you can't even get these benefits? That would be horrible. So very important to work with a good, solid team. So a better integrated user experience, you have everything pulled together, better core web vitals, happier customers. But here's the other thing, for your administrators, I'll be honest, the BigCommerce page builder, fantastic idea. They nailed it when it comes from an idea. The implementation, I think all of us would agree, has some areas for improvement. Some cases, some drastic areas for improvement with page builder. BigCommerce understands that, and they have been working to fix that. How? Well, they purchased a company called MakeSwift, and MakeSwift is kind of a content management system, but just like the next level where you can literally drag and drop. You can almost build your entire website in MakeSwift. Not quite that far, but it's pretty darn close, which is powerful because you need autonomy. You need the control over the website to be able to pull this experience together. And up until now, on literally any platform, it's been a bit of a fight. So better content publishing comes with a composable or a modern e-commerce system. Now, it kind of blows open the doors as far as what options you want. And that's where it's important to talk to a company like us here at SwiftOtter, because we're going to help you walk through the process, identify your needs, help you understand the options, and help you narrow down the perfect fit for your team. So better content publishing, absolutely. And if you already like BigCommerce, stay with it. You already have your admins trained up on this. Your customers are already there. If you switch to literally any other platform, your customers are going to have to reset their password, which is a pain, not insurmountable, but it's a pain. So a lot of good benefits with modern e-commerce. And that's why I say in everything that we are seeing, this is the future of the internet. So do you want to get ahead of this? Do you want to get ahead of your customers and land on a platform that will, I believe, last you for the next 5 to 10 years? Or do you want to play catch up is really the question that I'm presenting here. So let's talk about some of the architecture. And I'm going to keep this really high level. I understand you might not be a developer, but you'll understand this and I think appreciate what's happening here. So with the current logic in the system that has right now with your BigCommerce website, which is fine. It's like basically what every website is powered like this for the most part. So we have this application, and when I go to a page on the website, I go to a product page, for example, the page renders. So it's going into BigCommerce. BigCommerce uses their magic wizardry behind the scenes, loads the inventory and gets the product image, etc., and it packages up into a nice HTML page and returns it. Now, then there's some business logic. When I click add to cart, it calculates the promotions. And of course, when I go to log in to the admin side, I have to go through to BigCommerce.com. But, it's all still part of the same application. Now, this is what modern e-commerce looks like. Now, to be honest, you can put Cloudflare in front of your current website as it is. But you see how we have over on this side basically the same graphic with one exception. The page rendering, you'll see here's page rendering, and that is gone. That is basically moved over into this area here. And this area is basically a new website. It's actually a separate hosting, not a huge amount of money for the separate hosting, but it's here, it's separate. And what this is actually ends up being is a back-end component, meaning a non-user facing component, which is actually an interface between what is shown then to the customer and BigCommerce. It's kind of like a firewall, you might say, which is actually good for security. But what this ends up doing is allowing us to have unlimited flexibility. So BigCommerce is software as a service, which means it's a black box for developers. There's a very good chance, if your website has almost any customization, that you have some type of middleware already on your website that's going to be talking to BigCommerce. This middleware perhaps makes changes to inventory values, or it has gets a notification that an order was just placed, and then it goes and handle something with the order, or maybe after the customer adds something to the cart, it makes a change there or processes a discount or whatever. Like there's a million different things that can happen with this type of middleware. You probably already have this. And so this composable layer, this composable system is kind of like a middleware, but instead of like interacting with the BigCommerce application or maybe interacting with a front-end experience, it basically is the front-end experience. So BigCommerce no longer serves up the theme for your website. This modern e-commerce idea is the theme for your website. And so that's where the primary difference is. But this is what allows you to create unlimited flexibility. What ends up happening is BigCommerce ends up, instead of being, if we have think of a bicycle wheel, instead of BigCommerce being the hub for the application, it is literally attached to one of the spokes. The hub for the application becomes this new composable system. Very similar in idea, but it actually makes you a little bit less reliant on BigCommerce overall. It puts the power back in your hands to be able to do whatever you want with it. And I think that's really powerful. So what's the process look like? There are several tools out there that make this process simpler. In fact, our favorite here for BigCommerce is their own tool called Catalyst. And I'm actually going to give you a demo of what Catalyst looks like. And this process literally is taking the Catalyst vanilla system and customizing it to your specification. Let's take a look. Here is Catalyst running on my computer, literally running on my computer right here, coming from information that is on our sample BigCommerce website. And you can see we put it all right here. We're just testing it out. And you'll notice how easy it is and how good out of the box this looks. It's here and it's available and it just works. It looks quite nice. And so this is the foundation that anyone using Catalyst is going to start from. So then it's a matter of making it look like whatever you want it to look like or adding extra functionality in. Now, I will say it's a basic functioning system out of the box. Is it 100% feature parity with BigCommerce? By no means at all. In fact, they're working on B2B functionality right now at the time of this recording. Other things like Make Swift and such are also coming out, and it's going to be a really, really powerful system. It's honestly powerful right now. It does what it's supposed to do right now, but it's even being rapidly improved on. So this is the basic example. And actually, if you would like, my offer here is if you want to see what your website looks like with Catalyst powering it on a BigCommerce system, send me an email and I will be happy to help stand up a demo for you just like this. And you can see what Catalyst looks like, the speed improvements that it brings to the table, just impressive overall, but you can touch it and you can feel it in your own hands, what this will do to your website. So that is the process. The process is fairly simple, I would say, but it can matter of understanding what new features need to be implemented on this website, what are critical for your customer experience, what are to match their expectations to help them through this process. So the first part of this is discovery, then it goes into estimation, then it goes into actually the build phase where stuff is happening. We turn over these tasks over to you as quickly as possible, expecting you to take a look at it, walk through that whole process, get everything done, every milestone achieved on time and on budget. And then we turn it over to you for a final end-to-end testing before we take this live. And the nice thing is when this is taken live, it could be turned off at any moment. Like it's literally a seamless drop in onto the front end. It could be turned off or turned back on. Hey, you could do some A/B testing if you wanted to. But this is a very low risk methodology in order to improve the look of your website. Now, the question you're probably going to ask is, what does it cost? A fantastic question, but it's not one that I really can answer here with any certainty. And the reason is, your website you might look at this website and say, wow, this is fantastic out of the box. Literally, let's change the logo and let's just change a couple of things about this, and I want to launch it as is. You probably wouldn't, and then we could come back with a price, and it's like, wow, that's really, really inexpensive. It's probably going to be somewhere above that, but below, hey, let's rebuild this whole thing from scratch. That would be kind of a waste, but meaning a ton of functionality that needs to be added to the website. So what we are seeing is it's not a huge lift for this, and the value you get for it is pretty amazing. So I can't answer what does it cost, but I can tell you that it's a reasonable cost. I'll just leave it like that. Now, finally, let's look at some of the tooling that allows this to work. So Catalyst is that tool. You can look at it, go to catalyst.dev. It is visible right here. Catalyst.dev has lots of information as far as what is possible with this. It's a fantastic resource, so feel free to look this over. This is entirely sponsored by BigCommerce. It is also built on Next.js. Next.js is becoming prolific in this space as far as powering really dynamic user experiences. Before I close, I want to quickly show you a couple of websites that are actually using Catalyst. So you can also get a preview as far as what this experience is like. Now, you can see just how fast this is across the board. It's really fast and it looks great. You know, to be honest, there's a lot of similarities between this and what you see here. There's a lot of similarities, but a little extra touch makes it outstanding and beautiful. So there's that. The other one here is bells, and this one is a little bit more customized. Doesn't look exactly the same, although actually look at that, the person icon right there, and I bet you, yeah, the bag that looks pretty similar too. So you know, there actually is more similarities there than would just meet the eye. But overall, this is another. Just look how fast this is. Just lightning fast. Looks like they have a third-party search provider in here, but it just bam, bam. It just flies through this. Actually, that looked the same too as the adding to cart. So, you know, Catalyst is ready, and we're seeing adoption. It's a fantastic product, and I hope that you take a few minutes to look this through. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Contact me through our website. I will personally get on the phone. We can talk through some of these conversations, and I want to see you be successful, beyond more successful than your wildest dreams by utilizing next generation internet technology.